maintenance procedures had weakened the attachment points connecting the engine mount to the aircraft wing. With each flight, the damage gradually grew worse, leading inevitably to the failure of these attachment points. Additionally, the lack of an emergency electrical circuit that could be deployed to enable the aircraft to operate despite the failure of flight instruments rendered the DC-10 unsafe for commercial flight. Involved in some 50 accidents or incidents during its heyday, the DC-10 acquired a reputation over the years as a dangerous aircraft. Production ceased completely in 1989. Flight 191 out of Chicago still holds the record for the deadliest aviation accident in U.S. history. Some air disasters are completely intentional. One-way suicide missions by a pilot in emotional distress. Statistically, the number is small, but devastating. For 6th place in our ranking, we head for France, where a co-pilot crashed an Airbus A320 into the Alps. On March 24th, 2015, Germanwings Flight 9525 takes off from Barcelona at 9 a.m. for a short flight to Dusseldorf. It carries 146 passengers and 4 crew members. Takeoff proceeds normally. At 9:30 a.m., the captain, Patrick Sondenheimer, told his 27-year-old co-pilot, Andreas Lubitz, that he needed to leave the cockpit for a few minutes. Lubitz, now alone, has full control of the plane and the fate of its passengers. He cuts off all contact with air traffic control and locks the cockpit. To prevent a terrorist attack, the electronic locking system secures the cockpit, rendering it completely inaccessible from the outside. 30 seconds later, with no authorization from the control tower, Lubitz reduces the autopilot's altitude from 38,000 feet to 100 feet. The aircraft abandons its cruising altitude and begins a rapid descent. 2 minutes later, the plane had already descended more than 6,500 feet. Air traffic control frantically tries to establish contact with the crew. Their calls go unanswered. As they helplessly monitor the flight, Andreas Lubitz coolly increases the A320 speed. Between 9:35 and 9:37 a.m., the black box records the sounds of shouting and banging on the cockpit door. At 9:40 a.m., the control tower loses radar contact. The black box records its first alarm, the ground proximity alert. Without intervention, impact is now imminent. The plane, flying low at a speed of 434 miles per hour, slams into a mountain 41 minutes after takeoff, killing everyone on board. After the crash, the authorities report that they found the wreckage scattered over an area 1.2 miles wide and difficult to reach. With no road access to the crash site, emergency services have a difficult time getting to the wreckage. Even so, considerable resources are dispatched, including some 380 firefighters, over 300 gendarmes, and dozens of helicopters. Debris removal operations, slow but thorough, begin on April 9th and end 11 days later on April 20th. Co-pilot Andreas Lubitz should not have been working that day.
The search for clues and answers is underway.
At home, the investigators discovered documents indicating he was on sick leave, and others attesting to illness and medical treatments. he had concealed his mental illness from his employer. After the crash of Germanwings Flight 9525, the European Union stepped up psychological assessments of pilots.